don't agree with this government in the manner in which they're going about it.
Yes.
Some institutions, global institutions have said, look, these are audacious moves being made by this government. You know me, Mr. Bola Tinubu very, very well.
I don't know him well enough to know that he's competent. I know him as a politician who knows his way around manipulating people. That's what I know about him. I don't know him
as a fair assessment of
it is.
Of the
That's
president?
why Nigeria is in the situation that it is today. It's the guy who came 2 years ago and said he built Lagos, and then he came and ruined Nigeria because they never built Lagos in the first place. They were manipulating everybody in Lagos and collecting taxes and taking care of these taxes themselves. So the truth is that I never know him to be a competent person. That was why we were warning Nigerians 2 years ago that do not make the mistake of allowing these people come to power. I won't say vote for them, because nobody voted for them.
So you don't think Nigerians should be hopeful about this government and its policies?
No, I shouldn't. I don't think so. And I've warned Nigerians, and I'll keep saying it, the more you hope, the more you lose regarding this government.
What should they then do?
It's up to them to decide whether they want to keep suffering or they bond together and bundle them out. You know, nobody should be put in the situation that Nigerians are in now. And, you know, I'm never afraid to say it anywhere that I'm confronted with this question, that you are not at liberty, or no government should put you in a situation where you are perpetually in bondage. And you say, well, you have to wait for 4 years. Nobody should.
So your description of the performance of this government is for you less than desirable?
I don't need to tell you. That was my position since we started this show, that it's not only undesirable, it is unforgivable that we found ourselves in the situation that we're in now.
There are a lot of people who think that Bola Tinubu has been preparing himself for far too long for this position. He knows what he's doing. He's done it before. He can do it again. And he's certain about where he wants to lead this nation. And there are those who are close to him who say, look, the plan of the president is to be the Kuan Yew of Nigeria, to change things around and make Nigeria a great nation. You don't see that coming?
This president is not going to be a Kuan Yew. It's going to be an Undertaker.
What do you mean by that?
Well, what do Undertakers do? When they kill people, they put them in a coffin, dance a bit around with them, and bury them. That's what they came to do. And that is why you were mentioning that this one was prepared. The same thing they said about Buhari, that he's been preparing since 1978 when he was Commissioner for Petroleum Resources. And when he came back here in 2015, you know what he did to Nigeria? He killed Nigeria. And now they are preparing Nigeria for burial with the same person you said is. That's why we're warning you guys on these shows when we come on your show. We don't get to come here frequently. That the so-called experienced people who always tender experience as their own qualification, as their CV during election, that you should look at what they have done. The experience we should look at is the experience we have had with them, not the experience of how long they have been screwing the country. And that is why we must keep telling you this, and I will say to Nigerians, no matter how much we get airtime, we will warn you and say, look, the earlier you get to know what is happening to you, the earlier you reject it, the earlier you fight back, the better for you. Don't let anybody deceive you that somebody is going to become a Kuan Yew of Nigeria. When Boko Haram that he met in Borno State is already in Kogi State. When the Naira he met at 460 is at 1,650 today. When the salary of workers, when it was 15,000 Naira, is less than the 70,000 Naira that it is today. When the roads that they said they are constructing 700 kilometers, they only did 30 kilometers. They are telling you that in Ondo State, I called Ondo State today, I want to see the plan for Ondo State. They don't have it because they never plan to construct any 700 kilometers road. They just want to do 47 kilometers from Eco Atlantic to Dangote Refinery, and then the rest of it, they'll be playing with you. We warned you about all this, and this is government of liars. And we have never minced words that if you keep letting them do what they're doing with you and you get distracted by all this conversation about coalitions and all that, you're going to find yourself in worse situations than you are now. Because that has been the story of Nigeria since the emergence of civil rule. We don't have democracy yet, but we've transferred, you know, it's a transition to civil rule. What we are looking for now is real democracy. Yes.
So whether or not you like Sowore, whatever your reason for not liking him, let's put that aside. But on this one is right. Bola Tinubu is that man that has come to bury Nigeria. Is that Undertaker that has come to bury Nigeria. Buhari was a sledgehammer or wrecking ball, as you want to call it, that came to kneecap Nigeria and destroy Nigeria. Buhari's government was an incompetent government. The man didn't have the capacity, the bandwidth to lead the country, and he left Nigeria in a mess. But this government, this Bola Tinubu's policies, they're the policies of something that wants to destroy something and bury it. And that's why Omoyele Sowore, I agree with him on this, is an undertaker that's come to bury Nigeria. Look at Bola Tinubu's policies. Look at his monetary policies, security policies, economic policies, food policies. It's on these parameters you use to weigh in whether or not a person is doing well. If you look at his fair policy, when he says subsidy is gone, on what basis, on what data did he use? He didn't even have a cabinet. So what data did he really use to more or less, say subsidy was gone? Even though Nigerians wanted subsidy to go. But how was that supposed to have happened? Not only did subsidy go, the next one was floating of the currency. A double whammy. We were not producing anything. We're still not producing anything. But yet, it goes and it says, and it floats the currency. And see where we are today. So the exchange rate it met at 400 and something is now close to 1,600. Fuel price close to 1,000 something naira from where he got it from, met it in the first place. So almost everything, the price of everything's gone up. We don't have any step. They come on TV and they tell us the prices of things are stable. Stable where? There are projects happening every day in Nigeria, and you can attest to it. So you can put that in the comment section as well. One moment you go to the market, you see the price of something. Say you're building a house, and then you go and buy cement. You see the price at maybe 9,000, and you come back the next day it's 10,000. There is no fixed price for anything. It's just floating every day. But yet the government comes and their talking heads come on TV to say the prices of things are now relatively stable, where they can also admit that they've actually ruined the economy. So on this one, Omoyele Sowore is right. As a people, we have to bond together to get rid of this government come 2020. That's the essence of all of these, content, to make sure we have a better working Nigeria for all of us. And it calls it the government of lies. It's a government of lies. Look at the people that are in this government. Just look at them. From the president all the way down, look at them. They come on TV with different nonsense stats. And they tell Nigeria is moving forward. We're saying every day their experience, what we experience in Nigeria is different from what you're telling us. You're telling us we should not look at our experience. We should look at what you're telling us. And when we cannot afford to buy the things that we possibly previously could afford. It was right. Tinubu was known how to, everyone actually comes to acknowledge that Bola Tinubu knows how to manipulate the system and the people. All of Lagos at the time, when he said it was working, it was just rent collection. It was just collecting taxes all over. And that's what you've seen that's happening in Nigeria right now. That's the one way he goes about it. He collects the taxes, they use it to enrich themselves. What you see with Wike doing in Abuja right now, shouting and fighting over ground rent, is similar. How many times did Wike collect ground rent in Rivers State when he was governor? Did he do with this kind of intensity? He's doing that now in Abuja. No. Because that's the Bola Tinubu system. I will tax the people until there's no way to tax them anymore. And then when you ask them, what are they doing with the taxes? Nothing. It goes into their pocket. They tell us they're using the taxes. But when you go check the prices of things, there's nothing that's not padded in our budget today. So when Sowore said this is a government of lies, it's right. And you can agree with him. So whether or not you disagree with him in the way he attacks Peter Obi, that's a different thing. Because if you look at it this way, if you look at the character of the individuals who have shown themselves to come for presidency in Nigeria, you look at the one that where everyone has tried to assassinate is Peter Obi as a former governor. Whether or not you accept that he performed or he didn't perform, that's another thing. The question is, did he steal from the state? No one has been able to say you stole. So that's the reason why more Nigerians gravitate towards him than away from him. And perhaps that's the reason why Omoyele Sowore feels like, when I have to get this guy down, because after Peter Obi, it's supposed to be me. So if I remove this one out of the way, then Nigerians will gravitate towards me and then we can go and collect the presidency. So it's a political tactical move. You understand? And maybe Nigerians have now seen through it. And they say, now, since Peter Obi is refusing to attend to you, then let's just focus on Peter Obi. But that said, he is right. The system is not working for us. This government is an Undertaker government that has come to bury Nigeria. And we must band together to get rid of it. If you look at all the policies I mentioned earlier, if you look at all of Bola Tinubu's policies, they point in that direction. Look at his policies, they point in that direction. You don't need any soothsayer to tell you that Nigeria is actually going down the drain. We have more people in poverty, multidimensional poverty than we ever had. We'll borrow more money under this government than we've ever borrowed. And they're asking to borrow more for projects we cannot see what they're using the money for. And they're telling you trust the government. So are we going to continue to trust this government to our own detriment? The same way they told us to trust Buhari. So Nigerians will wake up. Wake up. On this one, Omoyele Sowore is right. He's right. We have to bond together. They will do to Nigeria what they've done to Lagos. They've taken Lagos. Look at what Wike is doing in Abuja, taking other people's land and selling it to themselves. That's exactly what happened in Lagos. Most of the houses and properties of the Lagosians are now being appropriated to a few individuals. That's exactly what is going to happen in the federal level. And that's exactly what is happening in Abuja at the moment. So Wike is just a tool in his hands. And like Sowore said, he knows how to manipulate people. So, and we cannot afford to be manipulated again continuously the way they've been doing. That's why we all have to continue to speak up and make sure we sensitize more people like we've been doing on this channel. So again, I say like, share, subscribe, follow this channel, and also I recommend this channel to others. Okay, and subscribe if you've not done so. And if you've been following us and you're not subscribed, subscribe as well. All right, I will catch you up in the next video. Bye-bye for now.